Hi everyone, this is Game Boy P with Russia Turn 2 of Operation Iceberg. Okay, so for my build, I had $40 and I spent $4 of it on tech, another 8 on artillery, so that's 12, leaves me with 28, 3 on an infantry, which leaves me with 25, and I'm gonna spend that on 5 tanks, so that's my build. I'm still not at war with anyone, so it's just non-combat moves for this turn. In the east, I'm going to move. I have 11 infantry there. I'm going to move all of them into Buryata, and I'm also going to move the 2 anti-aircraft into Buryata. Yeah. And the 4 infantry I have in Yenisei, I'm going to move all of them into Tunguska. Okay. Yeah. Over here, I'm not going to move any of my ships. I have a fighter and a tactical in Moscow, and they're both going to go to Leningrad. Okay. And then all of these guys here in Western Ukraine, 2 tanks into, all these guys in Bryansk, 2 of those tanks are going to go into Western Ukraine. All 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 infantry in Bryansk are going to go to Western Ukraine as well. And the artillery is also going to move into Western Ukraine. So, yeah. And then the 3 infantry in Smolensk are going to move into Belarus. So that's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. 7 infantry in Belarus. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. Okay. So I have 1 extra rail movement from all my factories. Actually, first I'm gonna move these 4 tanks from Leningrad down. Let me see. 7, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. Okay. And then all 3 of these infantry from Eastern Poland, 1, Bessarabia, 1, Ukraine, 1. They're all going to go into Western Ukraine. So I'll just chip that up really quick. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. So now there's 8 in Western Ukraine. 8 infantry. I'm going to use my rail movement. From Russia, I can rail 6 pieces from Moscow because +1 rail movement from all railways. So, Yeah, so then I'm going to rail one tank from Russia down to Western Ukraine. 1, 2, 3. That's one of the 6. I'm going to rail one artillery to Tunguska. That's one of the 6. And the other artillery is going to take the Trans-Siberian Railway to Tunguska. So, actually, wait a minute. No. Actually, instead of 2 artillery, it's going to be... Sorry, give me a second. Okay, sorry. One tank from Moscow is going to Tunguska along with an artillery. One of those tanks from Leningrad isn't going to go into Belarus. One of them is going to go into... is going to take the railroad from Leningrad down to Western Ukraine. Actually, you know what? No. He's going to stay in Leningrad. All those tanks from Leningrad. This guy in Stalingrad is going to go to Western Ukraine using the railway. So one piece from the Moscow Railway, one from the Trans-Siberian Railway. This mech from Moscow is going to take the railway to Western Ukraine. It leaves me with 4 more pieces I can rail from Moscow. I'm going to railroad a tank from Moscow into Western Ukraine. An artillery from Moscow into Belarus, actually. So that's 1, 2, 3. I have 3 rail movements left from Moscow. So I'm going to take 3 infantry. 1, 2, 3, 4, 6, 7, 8. 8, 8. That makes 11. Okay, all 3 of these infantry are going into West Ukraine. So that goes from 8 plus 3 is 11. 11 infantry in Western Ukraine. And that's all my rail movements from Moscow. Okay, I used 1 rail movement from Leningrad, so I have 2 left, because that's 3. So 2 plus 1 is 3. So with that, I'm going to rail 1 artillery to Western Ukraine and 1 mechanized. Okay, actually, you know what? The mechanized from Moscow is going to go to Belarus instead of Western Ukraine, and the mechanized from Stalingrad is going to go to Western Ukraine. Okay, sorry, that was kind of a lot, but that's all my rail movements from Moscow and Stalingrad. So now 1 infantry from the Caucasus is it's going to go to Rostov. The mech in the Caucasus is going to go to Ukraine. The infantry from Stalingrad is going to move to Rostov. The infantry from Moscow is going to move to Kaluga. Okay, so they've got 7 in here. 4 of these infantry in Leningrad. It's 5. 4 of these infantry in Leningrad are going to go to Belarus to make that 11 in Belarus. And artillery from Leningrad is going to make it 2 artillery in Belarus. Both these infantry in Leningrad are moving up to Karelia. So that's 5 plus 2. Seven infantry in Karelia. These 2 anti-aircraft from Leningrad are going to come down into Belarus. Okay. One more correction, actually. Instead of railing 2 of those infantry to Western Ukraine, so 2 less infantry in Western Ukraine, instead of that, it's going to be 2 anti-aircraft I'm going to rail to Western Ukraine. Okay? And then those 2 infantry that didn't go to Western Ukraine were in Moscow, and they're just going to move to Kaluga with that other infantry. All right. Okay. Okay, so let me think. 3 infantry from Moscow. Okay, so there's 8 in there. 2, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. 1 infantry, 2 anti-aircraft, 1 mechanized, 1 tank, 5, 6. 1 is a tank over there, Trans-Siberian Railroad. Yeah. Okay. That's all my. Those are all of my non-combat moves. Now I'm gonna place three tanks and an infantry. So 3 out of my 5 tanks that I bought 5 tanks, 2 artillery, and 1 infantry. So 3 out of those 5 tanks are going to Leningrad, along with an infantry, because a miner can build 4 in this game. So that leaves me with 2 tanks, 2 artillery, and all 4 of those pieces can go into Bryansk, because that's also a miner factory. Okay, so my disposition, in Buryata in the east, I've got 11 infantry and 2 anti-aircraft. Tunguska, I've got 4 infantry, an artillery, and a tank. In the Caucasus, I have 1 infantry. In Rostov, I have 2. In the Black Sea, I've got a destroyer and a cruiser. In Ukraine, I've got a mechanized. In Bryansk, I've got 2 artillery, 2 tanks. They're in Bryansk. In Western Ukraine, I've got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9 infantry, 3 tanks, 2 artillery, a mechanized, and 2 anti-aircraft. In Belarus, I've got 4 tanks, 11 infantry, 1 mechanized, 2 artillery, and 2 anti-aircraft. In the city of Kaluga, I have 3 infantry. In Leningrad, there's 3 tanks, infantry, 2 fighters, and a tactical. In Karelia, there's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 infantry. In A15, in A15, I have a cruiser, a submarine, and a transport. And in A5, I have a submarine. All right, that's my turn for Russia. And I'm going to collect $40 as usual, since I have no territories gained or lost. Yeah. All right. That's it for Russia turn 2.